And they were playing a show there. I just was so amazed. I thought I have to learn to play electric guitar like this, which in the end wasn't such a big rebellion, because then it turned out that my father had Led Zeppelin albums lying around at home, originally from '69. I was like, whoa, yeah. I was saying thank you very much for the invitation. I'm very happy to speak to you.
I'm very happy to speak to you too, and thank you for your time. You've had a busy week last week, or a busy weekend. You did a concert in Linz. Yes?
Yes, quite a bit. It was quite busy because we had, as you said, we had a concert in Lienz on Friday. Mm-hmm. And the bass player that was supposed to play with us could not do it because he was playing in the theater, and there was an ORF would be recording it, and he had to be there. So we had to find a substitute, and we had to do many rehearsals in the last week because of the substitute. But it went very well, and yeah.
Wonderful.
And it was great. And I don't know if you've been to Lienz, but it's spectacular. The landscapes and it's
really?
It's amazing. And yeah.
No, I haven't been to Linz yet. I've also heard many people say that, and that it's such a such a lovely atmosphere in the city as well. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so I should go.
Yes, I totally agree. And,
really?
And we were very, very happy. The organization was awesome. Mm-hmm. They so good care of us, and and the public was the audience was very, very appreciative, and they were like very silent and listening and very thankful, and it was great.
Mm. So what was the whole shall I say the concert? Was it other bands also playing, or was it something you organized? You organized that.
It was just our concert. It went through the Museum und Kultur Lienz. So they have concerts once a week. Mm-hmm. For September and October now. They had a little break, obviously, because of COVID, but now they are back on track again. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was something that the manager organized, Cristiane Mayoral. She did that, and yes, we were very, very happy to be there. It was really nice. It was a lot of work and a bit of stress because, as you know, I was not feeling very well the day before.
Yeah, and how did your voice manage that?
Yeah, I just took a break on Thursday because I'd been teaching Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at the music school, and rehearsing, teaching in the evening and rehearsing in the morning. So my voice was just working from since I got up until I went to bed, and after 3 days it was just like. But yeah, it was, I recovered and it went well.
Oh, that's good. But Patrick, I want to know now all about, because you're teaching and you have the band, and tell me, how did you start in music?
Well, I kind of, my father is a classical guitar player.
Yeah.
And he'd been playing tours, actually he was playing a concert the day I was born.
Really? Okay, yeah.
So I always heard, music and guitar was always like, it was just part of the household. They say, my father was practicing for hours every day when he wasn't on tour. He was like, and I was listening to all this Spanish music, this classical romantic music like Albéniz and Tárrega and Torroba and all this beautiful music. Yeah, but I must say that when I was a teenager, like kind of in an act of rebellion, I was not so much, eager to learn classical music. I discovered Led Zeppelin on TV. They played, and And I thought, wow, that's really awesome. When I was 13, I'd been playing piano before since I was 8 years old. But I wasn't really practicing much, you know. It was like I had to do it because my father is a musician and I was a little bit, you know, it wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
And then when I was 13 years old, I saw a show, Led Zeppelin playing actually in Copenhagen, which is the city I was born in, because my mother is Danish. I was born in Copenhagen and grew up close to Barcelona. And they were playing a show there. I just was so amazed. I thought, I have to learn to play electric guitar like this, which in the end wasn't such a big rebellion, because then it turned out that my father had Led Zeppelin albums lying around at home, originally from 69. I was like, whoa, yeah. But then, you know, with time, I just got more and more into jazz and classical music. Obviously, through the university, you get in contact with all kinds of styles of music, and I really I mean, I think it's Duke Ellington that said there is not a bad music, there is only bad musicians. Meaning that genre can be really good, you know. It's well done.
But it's true what you're saying, you know, that almost I think that's sometimes there's this perception. I don't know if it's a very old-fashioned perception that only when you play classical music then you are considered, you know, a good musician. But like you say, you know, these musicians of the 60s and 70s, they did really good music, and today as well you get musicians who are really doing amazing work and are not necessarily the concert pianist or the concert violinist.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, there are still many, I think, how would you say, prejudices in several genres. I mean, there are jazz musicians that think that the only thing that is really good is jazz. I mean, Miles Davis, when he came to Vienna, I've been told that he was like mocking like this with the violin, and I don't like Mozart, you know, like the mindset, like, to me, it's stupid. I mean, I'm sorry to say that about a genius like Miles Davis, but it's just, there is classical music is great, jazz is great. Good songwriters can be great also, you know. I mean, of course, there are some genres where I'd say mediocrity is less common. And I'd say that about classical music and jazz music. You can't really say that about pop music, because sadly, their mediocrity is, there is more of it. But that does not mean everyone who does this is automatically mediocre, you know. There are great pop artists like Billy Joel or Sting or you know, Stevie Wonder. And even Bruno Mars nowadays, he's commercial, but I think it's great. I like it.
Yeah, that's true. So then now, so you went to university as well to study music, and what did you study at the university? What instruments?
I studied electric guitar and acoustic guitar. We have, it's just called modern guitar. And you had both subjects every week, like acoustic guitar, meaning, you know, finger picking style, Latin, all this, and then electric guitar. And then I had also, I don't know what that's called in English, but Schwerpunkt, klassische Gitarre. So classical guitar was another regular subject that I went every week. Yes. So yeah, and I had singing lessons, but that was with some singing voice teachers from the university, but not because it was my subject, but because I was interested in it. And so I took
Mm.
with Janoschka and Elfie Eichinger and Stefan Gleixner, who are
Mm.
teaching at the university or
Mm.
vocals. Yes.
And yeah, and then from there, how did you start your band and your music that you do?
Well, I have always been doing to I have always been doing my own thing
Mm.
parallel to, you know, playing covers or being, you know, sideman to in some projects, just, you know, playing guitar or. But I've always been doing my own stuff too.
Mm.
My first song I wrote when I was 16 years old. I
Really?
was playing band in Spain, and since then I've been writing and composing, and I have been, you know, like adapting everything that I've been learning on the way or whatever touched me at the moment, and just putting it into my own thing.
Mm.
What really made a change for me was COVID, because I
Really?
just
Mm.
had to, you know, we had to stop playing live. Obviously, we had a contract with a cruiser, or two, I think, even it was two, and this obviously did not happen. And then I had a band where I was singing covers, where we were playing live cover program, and all this just stopped. So for me, it helped me really focus on my own thing and do that 100%.
Mm.
And then I found out that I was having a lot of joy doing that, and now I am pretty much I keep that line now.
Mm.
I have been expanding a little bit, meaning that I've been studying a little bit of online marketing and stuff like that, which is I still have to, you know, put into practice. But
Yeah.
at least I know how
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
should work. And this is very important stuff that many musicians never get into,
Mm.
which I understand, because making music is like eternally funnier and you know, but still, it's something that you have to do if you have an own project, I think.
Yeah. But you talking about something that I hear so often, and that is that musicians really in this time, you know, rethought what they were doing. And I also heard musicians that, like you say, you were on the go and you were having these projects where you were involved in, but then suddenly when you came to a stop, it was really thinking about what you were going to do. And in a way, I think it's, you know, very sad, this whole pandemic, and of course many people have been affected in many different ways, and in you hear also very sad stories. But don't you think this is so wonderful that you could really connect with yourself and the artist who you are, and find this thing that you wanted to do, and now that you can now put it out there, you know, that you don't have to just run around and do all these different things that maybe was not totally who you are.
Yes, I totally agree. I actually, yes, in the beginning I was obviously disorientated and I didn't
Yeah.
know where to go from there. But then I am, in a way, I am happy that I chose just to concentrate on my own stuff, and I really found how much more I'm capable to do, you know, and how much there is to do, how much you have to put into a project for it to really grow, because it makes a big difference if you are a sideman and you're playing for someone and you're just playing your instrument, and yes, then you can be in 10 bands.
Yeah.
That's right. When is the next concert? We have a couple of rehearsals. You go there and you feel good. That's enough, and you can deliver. But if you have your own project, there goes so much work into it, let alone, you know, the organization of everything. And if you do it properly, you need to like have a regular newsletter where you are providing your fans with value, and where there is constantly something happening, that it has to be in constant motion. You have to be putting things out, on Spotify, publishing constantly, and so much work. And I was overwhelmed by this when I was doing all the other stuff. And now I find like I really, as I said, I just focused, and I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
I'm not glad pandemic, obviously. I would
Exactly. Yeah.
erase it completely if I could,
Yeah.
but still it had something positive for me.
Yeah.
And
I think
I know what you said. Yeah.
the thing is, I think, okay, the pandemic, it's if we wouldn't have wanted to happen, but the thing is, I think it has taught us also that life brings all these tragedies or these setbacks. They don't always happen at the same time to everybody, which the pandemic did. But I think the pandemic has shown us that there is always something good that comes out of it. There's always something, if you really just take the time and not focus too much on the circumstances, but focus on what you can do in the circumstances. I've seen so many people coming out really doing amazing things from this situation, so I think this is the great part that we have to acknowledge and be grateful for.
Yes, I agree totally with you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What really helped me a lot was, getting insight into marketing a little bit, and because it's something that many musicians and me myself, have some prejudices about, because it's something that, first of all, is by far not so fun as doing music. Obviously, almost nothing is.
Yeah.
And yes, and then you feel like, well, it's like, you have to like, maybe disguise yourself in order to be more appealing or more into people. And maybe, it's not so honest. It's not an honest field to be in. And, many artists, especially those who do their own music, they are absolutely idealistic, at least the first years. But I think this is prejudices, because when you really start thinking of it, what marketing allows you is you do not have to change yourself. You just have to present it in a way that appeals to those who will profit from this that you are delivering. And it's a win-win situation, because you get to those people who make it possible for you, to spend more time doing it, because maybe you might get income from it, and you are offering those people value. You are enhancing, in a way, their lives. So what's wrong about that?
Yeah.
Nothing, actually. If you do it in another way, obviously you can present yourself in a way that is only in order to sell more. I am talking about a perspective when you really stay true to yourself and do it. What I do is not a mass product, neither, not at all. The niche. It's an absolute niche. I mean, it's like, it's the lyrics are quite complex, or poetic, or philosophic, or and it's not just like the happy music that you just listen to, without really listening. It's not summer or something, just feel good. Like, I have feel good songs, but not necessarily all of them. And some songs are about thinking twice about things, or or so big, or stuff like that. And even the way I write songs nowadays, if you listen to radio, most songs have 4 chords. not where I'm coming from, you know, or the arrangements are very simple. And I'm not saying they're not good for what it is and for their purpose. They are absolutely great. They want to get as many people as possible. Don't overwhelm anyone, you know, and just sound while you drive your car somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's awesomely produced, but I come from somewhere completely different. You know, my songwriting, I have much more influence of, you know, traditional songwriters like could be Billy Joel or Sting or even jazz standard. I'm studying a lot in the jazz standards now. For me, this is the highest level of songwriting ever in every aspect. The melody, the harmony, the lyrics, how they intertwine. And obviously this is not mainstream, you know. This is too much.
Of course.
Most people it's too much. If you one who really likes to listen to music, it's too much. And I don't care. It's very similar to what you say. I prefer to have a small audience and do what I really love the way I love it, and have someone who really appreciates that. And that's I totally with you on that.
Yeah, I read the book. This is author Seth Godin. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a guy who wrote books about on marketing. I'll send you the link.
Okay.
But it's really about this. It's really about staying authentic, staying, you know, finding out what it is that you give, and then reach the audience that are interested in what you are doing, you know, rather than just, you know, like throwing papers up in the air and hoping somebody will, you know, catch it. But it's that idea of you're not for everybody, but there are people who are interested in what you are doing. And I think, I think I think art is that way. You know, I think art appeals to people who are attracted to that specific art.
Yeah. I mean, this is a complex. I think in a way it's a complex topic, because on one way we as social beings, I think none of us likes rejection.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, when you do something and the deeper it is and the more honest it is, the more likely it is not to appeal to everyone. And on the other, artists should have, you know, a very, very, very sensitive way of being and being sensible, you know. But on the other hand, you have to have like quite the thick skin to cope with the, not the rejection, but, you know, this maybe indifference. And it's something that takes time. I think for me, it took some time to realize that.
Yeah, well, exactly. For me, as also I think it's a fact. It's a matter of making peace with the fact that not everybody will get what you are doing. So this is what I did. So I made peace with that not everybody gets what I'm doing. And then when people do make a comment that about something, then of course it doesn't affect me, because I just understand that it's not for them. So I don't see it as a rejection. I see it as that person just doesn't understand what I'm doing, you know. And I think if you look at it that way, then it doesn't affect you, and it keeps you doing what you want to do or what you set out to do, you know. So and I think you are at that place now where you have discovered what it is you want to do, how you want to do it. So you just carry on doing that.
Yes, absolutely. I feel that way too.
Yeah. So, but now tell me, so your music, let's talk about your music. And so you are writing now, you're writing songs, and you also recording?
Yes. Well, I've been, I'm just for if someone does not know, my music is with Spanish lyrics. I write in Spanish.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
and this, the reason why is because it's the language that I'm more comfortable with when I read something like really heavy stuff, like, I don't know, Dostoevsky or something like that. I pick it up in Spanish because it's where I have the broadest vocabulary, and I just like also on an aesthetic level how it sounds with the music, and so it appeals to me in this from that point of view too. And I mix a little bit, you know, with classical music influences and Latin American rhythms and traditional songwriting, as I told you a little bit, you know, some jazz standards, traditional songwriters from the 70s. And so, and what we've been doing now, we've been recording. We went to studio, I think it's 2 weeks ago, and we recorded 12 songs, but only the bass and the drums. I was, you know, with the pilot, the guitar and voice. I still have to do the definite tracks upon them. And because this I can record here. I needed the studio just, you know, to save some money. I only recorded the bass and the drums in the studio, and now I will record voices and classical guitar and maybe a bit of electric guitar at home. And then I will be sending it to the studio again. They will mix it, and then I will be publishing it like in periods of 1 month, 1.5 months as singles.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes. So this is the idea on Spotify and iTunes, social media, and so on. And then when we have all 12 of them published, then we will do a compilation that will be the equivalent of an album.
Oh, wow.
But in this way, we have flow of news.
Yeah.
There is something happening all the time, and I can, you know, I have a content for newsletter. You know.
Yeah, and it's something that when it's so gradual, I think it's like you hear it and you hear it often and you see it often, and then it builds up. It's a great idea how you're doing it.
Yeah, and people get to familiarize with it.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So I'm forward to doing this, and So this is how the.
Yeah, and in concert, do you also play this music when you do?
Yes, well, we had now our last concert. I was wanting to focus now a little bit on the online fan base growing, and on the of the material. And we have not a concerts program right now, but I will get into this too. I don't want to play too often, you know. Yeah. But maybe, I don't know, maybe every 2 months, every 3 months, I will get into that, you know, contacting some event managers or something like that. But right now, the next project is the publishing of all this material.
Yeah. Have a lovely afternoon, and it was so lovely to talk to you.
The same from me. Thank you very much, Petra.
Okay. Yeah. Bye.